How's it going? How's it growing, eh? It's OG Scotty B. Links in the house here. And check this out. Anyways, when I first started going downtown, I guess I was probably 8. I was in my 20s when I first started hanging out down there. And one of the first times I went down, I had some weed. And I was starting to get a habit. I found out I was strung out to heroin by this time. So I had a little bit of a heroin habit, and that was kind of a surprise. That's a good story. I'll tell that one, when I found out I was strung out, because that's kind of funny as shit, actually. But so I went downtown to, I had a bunch of weed, and I went downtown to go trade it, and I needed some heroin, so I didn't even know. Like, I was from North Van at this point, and the way we did it was we called a Chinaman, and we called a Chinese guy, because most of the dealers of heroin were Oriental when I was, so we called a Chinaman. He got us we went and met him. So I was just like, whatever. And so I went downtown and I'm trying to sell this weed, and this fucking guy comes up to me and tries to muscle me. He's like, listen, you can't sell that around here, which I didn't even know. But yeah, at the point, I mean, there was a couple blocks owned by the Hells Angels and shit by that time, and I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. So I'm just trying to fucking flog a couple bags, right? Just so I can get some money. And this guy's kind of giving me the fucking business, right? And, so I'm like, fuck this. And then right away, these two fucking guys walk around the corner, Shane and Jason Hawks. And they're, I think they're dead now, so I can sue. But whatever. Shane and Jason, if you're in North Van, you know who they were. And anyways, I went to high school with both these guys. And it turns out both of them had fucking ended up making a real big name for themselves downtown in a different way. Jason was a fucking great fighter, but the biggest junkie. Like, he was a big sad. He was such a sweet guy, but he would fuck you up if you didn't like him, or if you hurt one of his friends or whatever. And Shane was just kind of a conniving dope fiend, like with a one-track mind. But and this is when they started, like when we were cooking dope, and downtown had all these Spanish, like Hondurans there and that. But anyways, Shane and Jason have made a name for themselves, each, because they're brothers. Jason was the older brother, and he was like this big, sad, giant, nice looking guy, junkie, good shape, Shane was a little smaller, still nice looking guy, good jeans, good fucking built, stocky guy, but, straight junkies, man. But still, back then, we were like young Vikings, man. Just didn't give a fuck, and just drank, pissed, and fought, and that type of thing. Anyways, so this, I run into Shane and Jason, and this guy's like, and Shane's like, Scotty, and Jason just comes and gives me this big, dumb fucking ass hug. Scotty, this, and not like that, and I kind of forgot about the guy that was kind of bugging me, and I kind of look over, and his jaw was just dropped, because, like I said, both Shane and Jason had made a name for themselves down there, and I just happened to go to high school with them. And Shane and I actually had a beef over an old girlfriend of mine a bit, but it was whatever. It was like, it wasn't like a beef. It was more like, you fuck my girlfriend, so I fuck your girlfriend type of a thing. So it wasn't like a beef. But anyways, so I run into those two, and this guy, his mouth just dropped. And so I'm like, yeah, fuck. And then I was just telling him, fuck, what I needed, blah, blah. So, and I was more friends with Jason than with Shane, because like I said, I fucked Shane's girlfriend, he fucked my girlfriend. So, but Shane was the one in power and had all the control, and he had the rooms and the hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff and everything locked down. It's pretty amazing, actually, what he did down there for who he was. Like, just when you think about it. But anyways, and it was funny too because Jason did just the same amount of dope as he did, but Jason was it was weird. Like one of them was, the kingpin, and the other guy was the beggar on the street, but they both did the same amount of dope. It was just weird. Anyways, yeah, so that was kind of funny, and so Shane and Jason straightened me out and whatever. I'm hanging around, and I got some dope, and they're busy, so they go off to do their thing. Like I said, I was just sort of really green, and I didn't know about downtown much or anything. So I got some dope, and this chick comes downstairs. She's a really cute thing. Probably 21, something, young, cute, small, and she's like, listen, and she's like, and she was dope sick, and I could tell. She's like, listen, if you need a place to do that, you can come to my room and just give me a little bit. I'm kind of saying, I'm like, sure, okay. Like I said, I wasn't really into how the game was working then. Like I said, I was green as a fucker. And so we do the dope, and we finish my dope, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna split. And she's like, well, no, can you spot for me? And I'm like, what does that mean? And she's like, well, I'm gonna go do a date, but the other girls don't like me because whenever I go up there, they think I steal their dates because, like I said, she was really cute, this chick. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, sure. Whatever, I had nothing else to do, and I didn't even really I'm not trying to be a pimp here or anything. This is I had no idea about really what I was doing, so I'm just like, okay, I'll go. And she's like, okay, all you got to do and we were at Pigeon Park, and we had to walk up to basically Gore Dunleavy area, so it's about 5-6 blocks, maybe, if that. And so as we're walking up there, she's talking to me, and she's going, okay, well, all you got to do is just hang out with me, but stay away from me. Once we get to this block, walk about 10 feet behind me, and when I talk to someone, just don't come up and talk to me and walk on this side. She's like teaching me the game. It was funny. And she's like, walk on this side of me when we're going here and do this and that, and just take the license plate number when I get in the car. And I'm like, okay. So we basically walk up to this place. Basically, by the time we got to the Patricia Hotel, I fade back, and by the time we got to the end of that block, she'd already hopped in a car. And I don't even think I got the license plate. It was like she was that fast. And I'm like, fuck, okay. And then she was like, okay, and then meet me back at Pigeon Park. And so I'm okay, whatever. So she jumps in this car, and then I'm like, okay. So I turn around and I start walking back to Pigeon Park, and I get to Pigeon Park, and I basically light a cigarette, and I take about 2 or 3 drags of the cigarette, and she hops out of this car, runs up to me, gives me this big hug, and hands me $100 and goes, you got really good heroin, go get some more of that, I'll get the coke, and meet me at my room. And I'm like, okay. So I did. I went back and I ran into Jason. I said, can you give me some more heroin? And he's like, oh, holy fuck. And he knew who she was, and she was this new girl coming down there, this and that, making her seem like like I said, the other girls would beat her up because she was she was cute, and I guess she got the dates from these older hags, right? And so we're in the room, doing dope, and then next thing you know, we're having sex, and like I said, I was still living in North Van. I was like really green. I wasn't in downtown yet. And she's like, and I'm kind of like getting ready to go. I'm like, I should, and she wanted me to stay. And she's like, no, I want you to stay with me. I want you to be with me. I want you to be my, like, I want to work, like, you can take care of me, I'll work for you, sort of thing. She wanted me to be her pimp. And I had no idea, like, about any of this kind of stuff, and it just, like, seriously, man, I was like, this was this beautiful fucking girl, man, and here she is, just, and I couldn't, like, even really fathom it, and I'm not a predator, so I didn't take advantage of it at all. I just was getting high with her, and I ran out with her. I think I only went out with her like that one time, and then another time. So I think I only spotted for her twice. So I kind of, and so just, because I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm all innocent or nothing, because I did have a hooker as a girlfriend later on, and I'll tell you all about that. But it just blew me away how just the whole game and what she was offering to me, and it was just because I was nice. I mean, I genuinely liked her, and I think she genuinely liked me. I had that innocence about me at the time, so I think she saw that in me off the hop, right? And I was a fucking good-looking guy back then too. Not that I'm not a good-looking guy now, but I was a good-looking guy back then. I don't really want Lorraine to see this video, but she knows anyways. It's nothing. Fuck, man. I can tell you stories like that. But the next time I went downtown was, I guess, about 2 or 3 weeks later. And that guy whose jaw dropped when I ran into Shane and Jason, he came up to me because he saw me hanging out with this chick, right? And he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, remember, God, I wish I remembered her name. I don't." Anyway, she'd overdosed, and about 2 or 3 days before I got down, I went down to look for her again, actually. And yeah, she'd overdosed. The guy told me, and it's the one thing, man. I just, when I look back at my life, and I think, because I did some really stupid shit back then, man. Like, with needles and women. Fuck, I just, and I can't believe, like, I'm fine right now. Like, I'm okay. I'm healthy. Negative. Healthy. Like, I'm not fucking... It's same as my wife. My wife was a lot more careful than I was. My wife was never So one thing, Lorraine was never she was never a working girl. She sold dope, there's different sort of levels of chicks down there, right? You got like your high class girls, or your upper class, upper track. You got like your low track, and you got your like chicks that'll do anything for fucking whatever. When I was with Nicole, I swear to God, I was walking down the street one day, and this chick offered to give me a blowjob. I was holding my girlfriend's hand. She offered to give me a blowjob for the push on my pipe. She saw all the resin in my pipe. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, that place can mess a girl up real quick, and that's sort of what the moral of this story is.